Hello, welcome to the Coda Minerals podcast. I'm Coda Minerals CEO Chris Stevens.
And I'm Kudzai Mutsunbia, CFO of Coda Minerals. So, Chris, this is our fourth Coda Minerals podcast now, and I see we've upgraded our decorations a little.
Yes,
What is that in the back?
that's a stuffed cod, a soft toy. Our geologist has a strange sense of humour, but I thought we'd keep it.
Okay, so episode 4 of the Coda Codcasts, proudly brought to you by the Coda Cod. So, Chris, you've come back from the RIU conference in Sydney last
Yep.
week. Tell us a bit more about it. How was the conference? What was the sort of themes, the topics, and yeah.
So this is one of the major, probably the major East Coast conference of the year. We generally do sort of 3 to 4 conferences a year. These coincide with the requirement, to go and meet major shareholders and go and talk to funds and do a bit of a roadshow as well. So this is the RIU Sydney Resources Roundup and probably the biggest one of the year.
Okay, interesting. And what were the main topics, themes? Were there thematics that were very popular during the conference?
Yeah, got to say it's sort of a tale of two halves. Last year, I certainly was enjoying the theme, which was copper gold. This year, the copper and gold companies really seem to be getting a lot of attention, riding high. I spoke to maybe 15, 20 people and asked them what their theme for the year was, and it was definitely copper gold. So that's nice after a couple of years of watching the lithium companies have a really great time, but possibly still not what you call a junior market. I think the interest towards smaller exploration companies is still muted, and that is likely to change, in my opinion, especially with the change in commodities.
Okay, okay. And were there any sort of interesting stories that you picked up on or heard from whilst you were there?
Yeah, again, I think it was a bit of a tale of two halves. So you got some of the, I think, some really good companies that are struggling, maybe just at that sort of far right side of the Lassonde curve, just before it starts to tick up. And I think there's some companies out there. Obviously, this is not financial advice, but there are some companies out there that have really got into production or getting into production and maybe struggling a bit with market sentiment. And I think those are probably looking like quite good buys. And then the other side, of course, and I think Coda's in this group, was the companies that are going through, or projects that are going through sort of scoping study into feasibility. A lot of good companies, and there's about 150 companies in that room. Some very motivated people, obviously the ones that are out there promoting and really trying to tell the story. Had a chat with our friends from New World Resources. They were in the booth opposite us. There was the Colin, obviously our geological advisor from Xanadu, around the corner. Had a chat with the Rex guys. They were a good bunch of people. So yeah, just quite a few good stories around as well, especially in copper.
Okay. Oh, sounds like you're fraternizing with the competition a little bit, eh?
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, this is a very different industry. We're not all competing in sort of making, video cameras or training shoes. I mean, copper is forecast to be in 9 million ton per annum cathode deficit. If, and I think it's more like when, all of these projects get into production, there's more than enough demand to go around. And so, we stay pretty friendly. I was having a good chat about geophysics with the guys from Rex, and comparing notes on various things. And yeah, I think together we're stronger. So always take that approach.
So plenty of market share to go around, and
Oh,
in fact, not enough copper to sort of satiate the market.
Oh, I mean, you think about these production levels. I think Xanadu Hermagtai is like 50,000 tons cathode equivalent planned production. Coda's 25 to 30, plus the cobalt. In a 9 million ton deficit market, that is changing, and we can see that. I mean, that BHP deal with Anglo, that looks like to be priced at what, $5 a ton, $12,000.
Yep. Yeah.
Sorry, $5 a pound, $12,000 a ton copper. So yeah, I mean, it's a nice time to be in copper.
Awesome, great. And so for Coda, what were you trying to get out of by being at the conference?
As always, you got the speech. That's 15 minutes. It's a big room. There's a couple of hundred people there. I mean, we saw our volume on Friday. It was the biggest trading day since last September, I think. Certainly since 2023. So clearly some interest comes from these things, and that often builds in the weeks post-conference as well. over there talking to major shareholders and well, all shareholders, and also talking to some of the brokers, the funds. Had some really good chats with the technical analysts as well.
Okay. Oh, awesome. Sounds like a very successful conference for Coda.
Yeah, look, the feedback's good, and I think people really believe we've got a real project and a good project. Clearly, I think the next steps, especially in terms of getting this, I mean, it applies to every single one. I think the biggest question I saw at RIU this year was that of it being maybe a more muted junior market, but then also access to capital. If we're going to solve these copper supply questions, then the capital will be there, in my opinion.
Okay. Oh, excellent.
Thanks.
Awesome.
So, I'm going to cut in a few of the. I took a little bit of video while I was over there. I was very much on the booth. Didn't have a lot of time, but got a few nice bits of video. I'm going to cut that into the rest of the this episode, and look forward to doing the next one.
Awesome.
I think the next one's got Matt talking about metallurgy.
Oh, that should be very interesting.
Should be interesting. Got a lot of views on the geology and a lot of complimentary comments. So thank you again for watching and listening to the CodCast.
Thank you for watching the CodCast.
Cheers.
Good morning. I'm here with Colin Moorhead, Executive Director of Xanadu Mines, on the board of Ramelius and Eris and Sahio, and Chief Geological Advisor to Coda Minerals. Good morning, Colin. What are you doing here at RIU?
G'day, Chris. Great to be here in Sydney. I'm here to help you guys promote Coda. It's a great story, and I believe it's one that's underappreciated. I'll do anything I can to help that story. I'm also here to promote Xanadu Mines' Magpie project in Mongolia, which is heading towards production. So a busy week for me, and I'm really glad to be able to help out Coda as best I can.
Thanks, Colin. Thank you very much for being here to support. I know you were, until very recently, a non-executive director of Coda. Still very involved?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I'm fascinated by the geology. I think that there's real potential here, not only in the sediment-hosted mineralisation, which is clearly substantial, but also in the IOCG potential at depth.
Brilliant. Thanks, Colin. Have a fantastic RIU Sydney.
Thanks,
Roundup. I'm having a chat here with Chris Stevens of Coda Minerals. Chris, it's good to see you, mate.
Good to see you, Wally.
All right. Now, as always, these sort of conferences, we catch up with people 12 months down the track. We had a chat last year, of course. So you're Elizabeth Creek Copper Project in South Australia.
That's right.
Needless to say, you've been busy out there for 12 months, but you've made some fairly good progress.
Yeah, very busy. So we put out a study about 18 months ago now. So last year, this was the first outing for those numbers. We have increased it twice since then. So we've increased the value of the estimated net present value of the project by over 40%. So now 826 million and 31% IRR pre-tax. That's been really driven by hard work. So we've been rebuilding the mine plans, rebuilding the resource, working with Komatsu and Joy Global to understand new mining methods and apply them here. So yeah, it's been a really busy year, and a 40% upgrade to the MPV is not a bad thing in 1 year.
Yeah, it's nothing to sneeze at. I was going to say, how did you say all that without taking a breath?
Hey, I'm here with Kristie, aka That Stock Chick, at the Coda booth at the RIU Sydney conference.
I think with what's going on now with copper, it's really, really interesting, and also I'm liking gold.
So you're liking copper and gold? That seems to be the theme of the conference.
Yep, and then also silver. Silver's an interesting one, so let's see if we have a run on silver.
I'm Shae Russel from mining.com.au, and here I am at the RIU Resources Roundup in 2024. Sitting next to me is Chris Stevens, the CEO. Talk me through what we've got behind us.
Coda Minerals, listed in late 2020. We started with 250,000 tonnes of contained copper in two relatively small but high-grade open pit resources. Turned those into JORC compliant, JORC indicated resources. Then went looking for more scale. With that scale, we effectively defined Emmy Bluff and over 40 million tonnes at over 1.8% copper equivalent.
That's impressive. So if all the investors listening, you've listed some very key milestones and you've achieved these in quite a short period of time.
Yes.
How have you managed to do it so quickly?
Funnily enough, I was just talking to Alex over at Barton Gold, and we were talking about relentless forward progress. I mean, the reality is you've got to be comfortable with discomfort. You've got to keep moving, and you've got to know what you're doing next. You know, one of the challenges with ASX companies is you've got to keep creating news flow.
Yes.
So you might see a long pathway and say, right, we'd like to do this, then this, then this. In reality, you kind of try and make sure you've got news flow going out. So keep those studies moving, but it's really about identifying opportunities for improvement. These projects, you know, if you're doing your job, I'd like to think if you're doing your job well, you're keeping a list of all the things you want to look at, all the things you want to try. Some fail, some succeed, and over the last year we've had a lot more succeed than fail in terms of opportunities.